Hey everybody, you know what time it is. It is time for Syntex Live. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope you're doing well. And for some reason, everything on my camera looks red. I'm just seeing that now. For some reason, it's all screwed up. But anyways, let me get this a little closer. I don't think it's actually coming in. So hopefully I'm coming in now. Okay, so I hope everybody's doing good. The few people that are on right now, grab a drink. Right now, I ran out of soda. So, I mean, it is what it is. And let's get started. Okay. First things first on my fairly short list today. And I got a couple questions for the audience, folks. So by all means, get ready. Either drop it in the comments or the chat. But for right now, I just got one question. Are the jokes on the last story, did I go too far? That's my question. Did I push it a little too far? So I don't know. A few people I got a comment that was saying Dirty Minds would love this. So I'm like, okay, did I overdo it? I hope I didn't. I hope you guys enjoyed every bit of it. I just wanted to add a little bit of humor to it. It is what it is. So hopefully it all landed. If I go too far, please let me know in the comments section. And for some reason, this camera's all screwed up. Okay. Oh, now it's leaning. Uh-huh. Okay. Sometimes I swear, 5 and dime stuff. All right. One of the things I got to actually give a heads up to you guys. Actually, the comment section helped me out a lot in one area was with the mines. When I started talking about mines in the past story, there was a little confusion, actually a lot of confusion on how they would actually work. Because of that, I actually went back in the next chapter. I rewrote a section. I had to re-record part of it. So I actually explained how the mines actually operate, specifically down to many of the details. And also on the next one, they're like, oh, how come they didn't pick up all these things that look the same size? Well, if you're looking for giant space rocks and you don't care about something that doesn't have a lot of mass, there you go. So yes, that was changed because you guys, okay? Thank you, okay? I keep trying to get better, and sometimes I miss something. My brain only covers so many things. All right. Another thing in the comment section when they were talking about weapons is somebody brought up the battleship Yamato wave motion cannon. And all I can say is, what the fuck? Wave motion cannon. Okay, something that uses sonic vibration in space. Let me think about that. Hold on. Let me check. Nope, it don't pass the sniff test. Woo, that actually stinks. Okay. No, it doesn't work because you need a much denser medium to go through a wave motion cannon. I know it's supposed to be waving energy, but the way they show it, it don't pass the sniff test. It just does not work. It's fun to watch. It's an interesting series. But yeah, the actual cannon itself there is kind of just lost. All right, somebody brought this up in the comments section, how we as humans would say, oh, nice energy weapons. No, I'm sticking with mine. Da-da, 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 you know, and we would actually stick with ballistics. Well, a lot of people, yeah, they would, because it's what we know. It's like people trying to stick with internal combustion engines when we have the electrics now. Don't get me wrong, a lot of the electrics they suck worse than a black hole. That being said, that one, I think I talked about it last week. It's the same thing as when buggies came out. Buggies were terrible when they first came out. It was a way of showing you have money was to buy one of them. But eventually enough people had them that they built the infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure now. That being said, between ballistic and energy, that's a personal preference. And it also comes down to what works. Because as we said with the shield, is if you have some sort of energy shield that's going to deflect or disperse an energy blast, you're going to want ballistics. If you have armor that's so damn thick that you can't get ballistics through it, then you're going to want energy to melt that shit. Because what happens when you hit it with the energy, it overheats and then it rapidly cools. It gets brittle and it flakes off. And then suddenly you're left with this hole in the side of your ship. That's the way it is. So, anyways, I wanted to go on, and I got to give a small shout out to Eric. Dude, that was just a funny comment. He said when I did the whole joke of here's where the taints are between Floppy and Uranus, and he said his cat was looking at him weird because he was laughing too hard. So yeah, when you wrote that, dude, even I cracked up. I was just like, that's just. I'm sure the cat gave you the. What the hell's wrong with this dude? I'm gonna crap in his shoes later. And he's, cats are just evil, guys. I don't know why cats are just evil. Unless they're a humanoid cat named Gretnar, then they're really nice. Anyway, all right. If you guys catch the science fiction references, by all means, put them in the comments section. During the stories, I try to do a few of them. I got one in the story that just came out, or I just finished doing the audio, all I think 15 pages of it. Which, by the way, my hand still hurts from having to draw it out longhand. Makes me wish I could type, but I just can't type. I tried to, but unfortunately, flu shots cooked my cranium. Not fun. Not fun at all. So, yeah, if you guys like them, great. If I do a reference and it sucks, please let me know so I can stop doing it. I mean, I rely on you guys a lot. I rely on everybody in the comment section to help me out. I did try at one point. I was going to do a Back to the Future reference. Guys, you think of a reference that would have sucked even worse. It just, ugh. So I was going to talk about the flux capacitor when I'm talking about the flux field. You actually have to put the flux capacitor with the whole rest of the phrase, or else it doesn't make sense. It just seems like you're trying to rip off Michael J. Fox or something. And I'm trying to fix something here. Okay, there that goes. But hey, it is what it is. All right. I had a request for an extension on Flying Bricks, Part 4. I was going to do We Were Monsters tomorrow. I might not be able to actually get anything done. Tomorrow's just a busy day, guys. This one here, this one's dropping tonight. Okay, number 8 right there. Hunter Hunted. Woohoo, woohoo. Okay, that's a bad dad joke for me. But that one it's all the audio is done for that. It just has to get posted. I just ran out of time. I only had a couple of minutes and I had to stretch out and listen to my knees crack. But Flying Bricks will continue, guys. I have made up my mind that one has to continue because a lot of people have been asking for that. And they just want to hear the side story and whatnot on that. So I'll do my best to get that done. Let's see. I already talked about the video dropping tonight. Okay, I want to bring this up. More series, as you guys know, science fiction and fantasy. The Wokey Wokes have killed another series. It just came out today. I'd never even heard of this before. It was some strange ranger, whatever the hell. And they shut down the entire studio. I mean, completely shut it down, fired everybody. Because it went woke. And what they're doing, somebody brought this up, is I wrote this down so I could say it. They're clearing out the woke through mass firing. They're saying we got to cut funds, we got to cut this, we got to cut that. So you're getting fired, and you're getting fired, and you're getting fired. All the rest of these people can stay, but we need to cut the bloat here, so we're just going to fire a bunch of people. Hopefully this gives us a better product, because honestly, when I get on something, I don't want Cortana to look like a dude. I really don't. I want her to look like Cortana. I don't want Master Chief to look like some, I don't know, think of the most pathetic loser guy big beer gut, skinny little arms, doesn't know how to shave below his chin, that sort of person. And I'm just like, unless that's a style choice. So that's a style choice, leave that one alone. Regardless, I'm like, what the fuck? They gotta stop trying to destroy this stuff because they're losing money. They're hemorrhaging money like crazy. And I give props to the Japanese for not buying into it. And they're finally coming out. This is why manga is beating the living dog turds out of comics, American comics, is because people are tired of the garbage. And even I see it on my YouTube feed. I'll tell you what, some of those videos are like 3 hours long to watch those. The problem is you have to actually physically watch them. You can't just listen to them, or else you're going to be completely lost about what's going on. It's hard to stay away from because some of them are just really, really good. So, all right. I wanted to ask this because I don't know. I don't see him in the chat yet, but I'm sure he will be. I don't know if you guys realize, but I took Demon. I took your advice, and I did a little bit of a name drop. It wasn't a ship though. I'm sure you guys know who it is. If you know who it is, throw it in the chat. I'm gonna go over there in like maybe a minute. I'm gonna go over and see what's in the chat, but I just want to make sure it's okay with everybody. If for some reason I drop your name on a person or a ship or a vehicle or whatever, if you guys don't want me to do that, just let me know and I will make sure that you are not on the list. I will make a note right here and I will make sure that you guys do not get all that taken from you. Some people get particular about it. The majority of people don't, but again, I'm not here to piss you off. I want your advice so I can make better content for you. All right. On to the next one. Somebody recommended that I do a little bit of a video series on it was meant to be a story of comparing or having a bunch of people compare the different sci-fi ships. But the thing is, to do a story like that, I'd have to make up the science fiction ships and describe everything from the engine to the bulkhead to the way it's piloted. All that stuff, I'd have to make it from scratch. Either that or I'd be ripping off another series. What I can do is do a small series where I actually put two ships back or side by side, see how they stack up against each other in different series. Now, you don't want to do it in the same series because let's face it, it's already been done. So, and now some people have done versus series. The problem is a lot of people doing versus series, they cannot ditch their own biases. They can't. It's not there. I seen was Eckhart's Ladder used to do them really well, but they always have a bias towards Star Horse. It is what it is. The thing is, if you have the bias, just admit you have it. Start off in the beginning and say, I have a slight bias towards this genre compared to this one. I think this one is a better story. However, I will do my damnedest to make sure that it is just as clinical as possible, just comparing weapons, technology, maneuverability, all that sort of things to see who comes out on top. And then you compare the two societies and whatnot. I can do that. If you guys want me to do that, I can do that. If you want me to stick with stories, I'll stick with stories. You guys just got to let me know. All right. Somebody sent me a story to review. I will gladly do so. That's one of the reasons I probably won't be able to get a story out for tomorrow night. I got one dropping tonight, but tomorrow night I probably won't because I am backed up. I haven't even been able to open that file up. If you sent me that, I'm sorry, I just haven't got to it yet. It is what it is. I've been running around like a jackass all day. I was helping my dad all morning. I had to help my nephew this afternoon. I'm everywhere. So, and this one here, I think it was like a 20 some odd minute video. It took me about 5 hours to write. So yeah, it is what it is. Now, unfortunately, that ends my notes, and we've only been going for under 15 minutes. So let me wet my whistle here. And we can go into the chats here. I know everybody's right here saying hi, how you doing? What's up? Oh, no, enjoy it. Okay, yeah. Alan says he enjoyed it. Okay. We got one of the sirs. We got a lot of sirs here. I don't know if that's a give it to yourself type of sir, or that's an actual sir, or if that's a sir. I do that because they like to hold a scepter for some reason. Well, actually, I do know the reason, but I'm not going to get into it. Braddock says, since you toned down the interspecies stuff, you go a little further than that. Okay, yeah. Yeah, you guys actually said I was doing that too much. Okay, so I backed off. Um, there is a little bit in the current story, but it's not like right up in your face. You know, it's more of a kind of a held back type of thing. And again, name drop on that one, and I thought it would be kind of a hat tip because he's helped me out a lot. Okay, War Sniper, where are you? He's out there somewhere. He's in the trees, man. He's in the trees. Let's see. He says, I talked about that in the past when I asked you about the battleships in one of your stories, if it used a wave motion gun. Okay. Yes, they don't. They absolutely do not use a wave motion gun because wave motion guns require a medium to work. Oddly enough, they showed the perfect type of motion gun in one of the Hulk movies where they took the it's not an LRAS system. I'm trying to remember exactly what that's actually a sound cannon that they were using as the prop, but the way they showed it is exactly how an actual wave motion cannon would operate. Would it sonically screw you up that bad? I don't know. Most likely, but more from pressure than actual sound. It wouldn't be the vibration. Well, it would, but the pressure going in and out and in and out and in and out would be enough that would mess you up. But that's if you have something to go through inside an atmosphere, especially, then a wave motion gun would work excellently. In the ether of space, not so much. Let's see. He says he got one of the references. Oh, you should have told me which reference. I could have laughed at it. Okay. Dustin says, I would use what is most efficient for special weapons. Yeah. I'll always use the right tool for the right job. You know, you don't want to use a hammer to screw a screw. You know, you don't want to use a crowbar as something to pick something out of your thumb. That wouldn't work very well. Let's see. Oh, okay. So you did put it in there. Yeah. Relax. I'd rather not piss these guys off. Yeah, that was the Halo reference. Honestly, that came as like just a snap into my brain. I was like, okay, I gotta put this down. Hold on. And I actually went back and tore up half a page just so I could make sure that got put in. Let's see. Dustin says battery electric car are at a point of still being questionable at best. Yes, they are. Why? Because there's so much hidden technology that it is driving me absolutely nuts. Okay, we're in the information age. They can't hide this shit anymore. They're doing their best, but I'm sure everybody has heard of the idea that eventually AI is going to get to the point where it's just going to dump all the information on the internet. Well, it basically already did that. The problem is they got so many people writing top cover for this shit that it's hard to get any of it. And the fun thing is, it's actually against the law. No joke. It is against the law to bring out good technology. You don't believe me? I want you to look up the Y files. If you haven't already watched the Y files, he just did one in the past like 4 days talking about how hidden technologies are out there and the inventor keeps getting offed. Just either offed or disappeared. They'll off him if they just want him gone, but they'll disappear him as in they'll take him somewhere or her when they want the technology expanded upon, i.e. Tesla. Tesla was not murdered. Tesla was taken. He was a super genius. I from the way his pictures are, I think he was a functioning autistic, but still, holy shit. Some of the stuff he made was absolutely best. Now, the kicker is if you put a actual 0 point generator, and I'm just going to keep calling it that because it's easy, inside the damn thing's only about this big. It's only about the size of a football. Inside one of those cars, that's more energy than you need. And you could take those batteries out. The thing is, the car would be so damn light. Every time you go to take a turn, you would have to slow down. You don't have a choice. You have to slow down. You will just slide right across the road. You're drifting and you don't want to be. Any of us that slid on black ice, we know exactly how that sucks. Let's see. Let's see. Dustin says diesel electric drive are fun. I haven't been in one, so I can't say. Back to the Future time car. Okay. Demon says, hello, I'm a little late. Hey, at least it's not your girlfriend saying that, Demon, so you're safe. Oh, okay, this thing jumped. You have this old thing called a recorder, and you could use it for note taking. Yes, I could. The problem is going back. I actually have one. I've tried to use it. It doesn't work. It would be nice if I could. I've even tried the whole dragon speaking voice to text thing, and it comes out for shit. I don't know why. I don't know if it's something wrong with me or the software is messed up, but it's just, it's a good idea, Alan. It really is. It's just it doesn't work well for me. It'd be nice if it did. War Sniper again say, also, since sorry for the long wait, I have a very problematic time so I need time to detail my anti-Titan class. Oh boy. The anti-Titan? Yeah. Question, do you want me to be detailed with its logistics, escort, mining? Yes. The more details you got, the better off it is. If you're sending this so it can be on the channel, by all means, write the whole story. If you actually have any notes you want me to work on a certain area, I will. The thing is, like, I was given like character sheets of a story and expected to write a whole basically book. That would take a long time. It took me all day to write these pages, and it would take me probably another 20 or 30 days at minimum to write the book before the editing process. So yeah. Okay. One more sip here. Hold on. Maybe I should put some vodka in that. Okay. Dustin saying, you have to play Stella Blade. I'll put on here. I'll see what I can do. But again, time is not my friend. Now, you guys have actually recommended that I do basically a Let's Play type of thing. However, I wouldn't just be playing. I would actually be talking, here's my strategy. Here's what we're going to do. Here's what works. Here's how you actually do it if you want to take certain things, doing like Green Army Men or something. But we'll see. If I could sit here and just all day be able to do it, that'd be one thing. But I physically I can't. Dustin D also says the Acolyte is totally easy to ignore for being completely boring. Yeah, that's what everybody says. It's so bad. Everybody has those wonderful fallopian force powers, and God help you if you don't have a pair of those, because then you're not allowed to have the farce anymore. It's just, and yeah, I'm going to call it that until they get their head out of their fourth point of contact. Because it's just, every review said the same thing. I got a chance to watch maybe 3 minutes of it. I got about 2 minutes in, and I'm like, why are my eyes getting heavy? God, and they don't talk about anything of substance. It's just, you're right, Dustin. It's just, God, it's bad. War Sniper saying, fleets like what specific ships are in the fleets, or just what classes are in the fleets? And that's like 10 jump fighters and 30 deep space transports. A little bit of detail on what type of fighters, 1 person, 2 person, turreted or not, because that plays in a lot. You got to remember, you look at the difference between, and I'll use the Clone Wars, Star Wars as a reference here. You have some fighters that are multi-personnel to the ones you saw in the movie, because they actually have a gunner up front in front of the pilot, and then you have a rear gunner, so there's 3 people in that one fighter. But you also have almost all the other fighters are single seats. So when it comes to jump fighters, I'm assuming jump means FTL, or does it mean I'm gonna swarm you from short distance? That it really depends. This is why some of the details are important. Now, as far as deep space transports, that's pretty obvious. You would just have to give a basic idea on their outer design, because space transports are a cockpit, basically a sleeping area for the crew, along with whatever toiletries they got, then a big cargo hold, and then an engine, and that's it. Let's see. Demon said, "Oh, there's the reference. It was our boy Hamish." Yep, that was. Yep. Hamish he's got himself a tiefling, guys. He got himself a tiefling. I'm sure if he's watching, he's probably laughing his butt off. Horse number said, "It will help knowing how detailed I need to be." Okay, yeah, that's what I just talked about. Whenever you put a additional detail on something, if any of you are out there actually trying to create a story, and you have a specific type of fighter, like case in point, I took the basic F-22 that we know of and I enhanced it. In other words, I gave it better engines. You can't really do much more with the maneuverability. If you're going to make an aerospace fighter, you just have to put thrusters in the wings, and boy, that thing will move like crazy. That being said, I mean, because it can already do all that fancy shit. But if you're using something already set, all you have to do is you're enhancing it at point A, B, and C. Okay, you're done. But if you're starting from scratch, you actually have to describe what it is. I mean, at least the basics. I mean, if I said single seat fighter, are you thinking X-Wing? Are you thinking Star Fury? Are you thinking the Raptor from Galactica? I mean, those are all single seat fighters, but they are very different. Dustin D says the wave motion guns do need a shit ton of power to power. Yeah, no kidding. And what amazed me about that whole scene is that people don't realize why the front was set up the way it is. If you go back and look at the front, especially in the live action one, they did. That is the mouth of a shark. The original bow did shape itself a little bit like that, but it wasn't as high arced as that. But if you look, the openings on the front are the two eyes, and then it goes down and the mouth is open. That's where the thing basically pukes up the friggin' wave motion. That's how they design. A lot of people miss that. Well, I think it's actually clever design. I really, really do. Let's see. Demon says, "I'm cool with you doing the ships. I'm actually interested in your opinion in some of those." Okay. Again, if you're sending me anything, you got to give me a little bit, because I could go on. This brain can go somewhere you don't want me to go. I mean, hell, back in the day, I used to actually do commissioned work. It was an extra like $200 a month because I only had like one story to do. And it was people usually wanting, shall we say, not YouTube friendly material, not safe for work type stuff. And I'll tell you, it's, that'll make you vomit some of the stuff people wanted. I actually had to deny a lot of people. I was like, I don't write that stuff. I'm done. People have still request me to write it. And I'm like, no, find someone else. Let's see. We got some rage in the chat here. Swiss Army Crowbar, now with toothpicks and tweezers. That's good, man. That was good. As Swiss Army Crowbar. Oh, shit. Just never give one to, what the hell was that guy's name? I'm trying to remember. Oh, Charles Bronson. You give him a crowbar, everybody dies. If you don't know, that's from the Death Wish series, way back in the day, back when movies were good. Let's see. Dustin says, why does GM have been heavy decline since 1987? Since GM stopped making city and coach buses? Oh, that's an easy one to answer. They decided to move everything down to Mexico to save money in the short term, not realizing that if you have a large company like that, you need to think 20, 30 years in the future. You have to play the long game. And that's one of the things that's a common things in my stories is a lot of people are trying to play the instant, I'm going to grab this planet, and they're not thinking about the long game. They don't realize that if you accidentally give somebody the the major advantage in technology, they're going to very slowly, very methodically build up their forces, and they're going to shove it right up your butt. But that's the problem with GM. If GM would actually do like they did in BattleTech, because GM actually, in that story, they actually brought out the what they call a fusion engine. When you actually look at it, it's actually a 0-point engine. The only thing that bothers me about the whole thing is everybody thinks a 0-point would overheat. 0 points don't overheat. It doesn't work that way. You can overheat the connectors, and the connectors can blow, just like with when people's cell phones used to be going off in their pocket. It wasn't the battery. The battery caught fire because the connector piece is overheated and ignited. The problem is when that fire reaches lithium, then it blows. It wasn't the battery, or the battery didn't make them explode. It was the spark. Okay, I'm getting off topic here, but that's why GM was so screwed up. Okay, down here, Demon says flying bricks will get another chapter. Since thinking about doing ships versus got another chapter coming out tonight. Yep, and he wants to make sure it's okay. Names okay. Oh, so you're basically just giving him a recap. Okay. Hey, no worries. Demon says, all I got, because I was like, well, you got pretty much everything. The only thing you missed on that was I was talking mines and how the comment section actually helped me out. And I think you got the rest of it. Let's see. We got Nivan in the chat with a story idea. A future humanity exterminated by alien bastards. Travel back in time around 2025 and prepare humanity. Time jump. Okay. Time jump. Prepare alien invasion. Okay, let me get your name on here so that when I get around to that, I can make sure I give you a shout out. Remember, folks, if you were the ones that came up with the story idea, or you drop something in the super chat or anything of that nature, super thanks during one of the other videos, whatever it might be, you will get a shout out. I do those at least once a week. I try to do them once I have at least 2 or 3, or once a week, like I said. Don't worry, Ivan. I got it. It's written down right here. War Sniper says, don't worry about the dragon story. Take your time with that. Yeah, dude, this is going to take a long time. I hate to be a stickler on that, but I mean, it is what it is. Dustin D says, maybe play American Truck Sim and answer questions. Dude, I already know how to drive a truck. I just don't like it. I've been certified to drive most of the trucks in the Army, with the exception of the HET, the heavy equipment transport, which is basically an I-beam with an engine on it. I mean, the thing is just huge. But it's an up-armored big rig. It's the only one I haven't actually driven. I did not enjoy driving the Bradleys, I'll tell you that. And I've only been behind the T-bar of a tank one time. And I started going forward, and the guy said, whoa, too fast. And then he said, get out, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm not a tanker, so I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I guess he thought it would be funny to watch some grunt get behind the tank, and then he's like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. Well, kind of don't, just like you don't on the ground. Okay. But when it comes to the American Truck Sim, the only question I'd have to answer on that one is, why aren't there any more truckers on the road? Well, that's simple. It's not financially viable to be a trucker here in America anymore. By the time you have to buy the truck, so you're already in debt, probably $500,000. You need to pay to get all your training and certifications. Unless you're a suicide jockey, which you're hauling all the dangerous stuff, the bio whatevers, the explosive stuff, huge things of propane, whatever it might be, they're the ones that get paid more. They're the only ones I know that made any money. If you're just a regular trucker, you are barely scraping by now with all the restrictions and all the extra permits you got to buy per state that have to be updated per state. And then you go to California, and yes, I will call it that because those communists, they're like, oh, well, you have to have a certain engine in your truck. How much is that going to cost? Oh, about $350,000 a piece. What do I do with the old engine? They don't, oh, we're green. We don't care if you scrap it and it rusts out on the road. Yeah, that's real green. Okay. Let's see. Lenient says, hello, which ship would I choose? Star Fury or I would choose Star Fury or Gunstar 1. Out of deciding which ship to take into combat, probably the Gunstar because it's a gunship, not a fighter. That's I've actually seen that. I'm trying to remember exactly which Space Dock. Yeah, the guys on Space Dock. They wanted to say the Gunstar is a fighter. The Gunstar is not a fighter. Okay, you put a completely rotatable turret in that, it is not a fighter anymore. Not by our definition. It is a gunship. Okay. Now, the thing is, when you look at the heavy fighter for Star Wars, it could officially be taken as a gunship as well, effectively. They had it labeled as a fighter. I don't remember if the Gunstar was considered a fighter, if it was ever referenced in that movie as a fighter at any given time. All I know is, by definition, the Gunstar is not a fighter craft. Okay, especially with the Rose, Death, Blossom, Bloom, whatever the hell it was called, as definitely not one. Now, if I was to take a single seat fighter, I would, okay, depending on if we're talking all of them, single seat fighter, I don't know. I think, well, I have to say, tech level speaking, I hate to say it, but I take the Treks because one-on-one, those things are just, their technology will kick everybody's ass. It's like, well, no, maybe I'll just take something out of Warhammer because they'll kick everybody's ass. You can't kill them. You can't kill them. Their power level is way too high. You know, that's Warhammer 40K for you. It's so absurd, really. And yet everything they have in there is derivative. That's why I tried to get into it, and I wondered why I couldn't. And one of the other channels I watch, he broke it down because I was like, how come I can't get in this? Why does this sound so familiar? And he broke it down piece by piece by piece. And 40K is just derived off one other thing. I'm just like, oh, you son of a bitch. Oh. But you know what they say? There's no original stories anymore. Everything's been done. Now, Leonid on this, if between the Star Fury and Gunstar, the Gunstar has a massive advantage against a standard Star Fury. Okay. You almost never, ever, 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 ever see a fully equipped Star Fury in Babylon 5. Because what you see in Babylon 5, unfortunately, they did not have the budget to actually fire all 4 cannons. They only fired the 2 at the chin level because, I don't know, maybe they wanted to look like the TIE fighter. I don't know. All I know is those 4 cannons, when they fire, it gives a pretty wide gap of where you can get tagged. And they reach out really far, a whole lot farther than the Gunstar can reach. So you're looking at possibly a random strike that can end the entire battle before it even really begins. Also, the Star Fury carries a bunch of missiles. As far as I remember, the Gunstar only carries 2 or 3 at most. And it doesn't have any countermeasures that I ever seen, except for that one ball turret that the guy spins around in, and I don't know how the hell he didn't puke. If I did all that, especially in 0G, it'd wind down and I go, bag, somebody hand me a bag, hand me a, blah! You know, just. But once they got close, the Gunstar has such a high advantage compared to the Star Fury, but the Star Fury's mobility above the Gunstar, it would probably keep in the fight a lot longer than the Gunstar would think. So it's that one's really a roll of the dice. If you had equal pilots, I'd still think just because the turret can fire in any direction, they don't have to orientate the ship at all. It gives it the advantage. I prefer a Star Fury, though. If I had to be in one of those, I'd prefer to be in the Star Fury. Why? I'm just crazy like that. Especially if you give me a neural link. Okay. Let's see. War Sniper said he's going down here. Sorry, I was on the last one so much. War Sniper, not fighters, jump fighters. They are a capital class transports that can jump 5 systems. Whoa, 5 systems. That's pretty far. At the time, like the Caldari jump fighter, most, if not all, ships will be from Eve Online, where they. Oh, okay. Okay, well that's easy. If they're coming straight from Eve Online, you don't have to describe anything. Just send me a picture. Although the whole thing of jumping 5 systems, that's a pretty large jump for a fighter. The only ones that can jump farther than that I know of, without using external anything, is Star Wars. Yeah. Because they use the hyperspace lanes. Once you're in it, you just go. As long as your nav computer can keep you on that lane, you just go. It's crazy fast. Let's see. So long will take time. Okay. Have to research a lot, get them detailed. Okay. No worries, no worries. Uh-oh, Ava's here. Everyone duck. She's awake. She's here. Look out. Yeah, that almost sounds like a jump frigate. What the hell's wrong with me today? I'm just coughing up a storm. Sorry about that, guys. I got something pushing up. Let's see. Ava, let's see. We jump fighter. Okay. Whoa, okay. Hold on. Oh, Ava's here with a $5 super chat. Here she is. She says, I got a good story idea. Hold on. Let me write this down, Ava. Before I do anything, let me just write this down. Oop, almost forgot to put the I in there. Got a good story idea. Humanity becomes nomadic fleet based. Nomadic fleet based series, changing social norms via crossbreeding. Ooh. Via cross breeding. Although we'll keep it off the hub and make sure it's not crossbreeding within the same bloodline. I just saw a small, like 20-minute, 30-minute documentary on that, and I'm just like, wow, that's disturbing. So, anyways, thank you so much, Ava. I gotta make sure. Oh, hold on. Let me write this down. Super chat. Okay. So make sure you get your thank you. Probably won't happen until next Tuesday or Wednesday, but you will get it. I have it written down now, so I won't forget. I almost missed the last one somebody sent, and because I didn't write it down, it didn't come up. It took a lot of searching. So where was that? I hate to freaking jump past you guys. Let's see. Demon says, I have an idea for a drone fleet I'm working on that I want to send. You look into maybe you can use once worked out. I'm hoping to get it done by Friday and sent to you either by Discord or email. Please send it via email. Okay, please send it email. I forgot to put it in the description on here, but usually the email is in the description box. Everybody's still saying hi to Ava even before she dropped the super chat. Okay. We got a Rage. How about a Space A-10 that needs a thruster fired perpendicular to the gun to counter the spin? Well, the thing is, you know what? I hadn't even thought about that. That's oh shit. Okay. Counter spin A-10 in space. Now, the reason I don't usually come across this, which is a really good thing, I forgot about that. The motion or something in motion has a counter effect or equal and opposite reaction. The thing is, I'm usually on almost everything I have. If it's in in space, you're using a single shot coil gun. at least for the large ones. The only ones that are rotating weapons are usually point defense systems. I never thought about that for like a fighter or something like that. Usually, and what I like to do is I actually have two going in opposite directions. It never occurred to me to just have one and all of a sudden you have to use the thrust vectoring to actually hold yourself in place. That is a really good one, Rage. That was really good. Let's see. Ava saying capital carriers in space are the best, a support vessel, but saying that fighters can be used to go off angle torpedoes, but beyond that, their utility and support and logistics. Absolutely. Carriers are, as far as I can see, are purpose-built ships for one reason and one reason only, and that is for planetary invasion. I did one in the story. God dang it, I've done so many, I forgot about the story itself. Anyway, you got the carrier coming in, drops its pods, has to flip to drop pods on the other side. And once it does that from both sides, the ventral and, the port and starboard, that's where your support craft come out, all your shuttles that end up going straight to the surface behind the pods. But along with that, you have to have your flak, or not flak, your chaff, your flares, your scramblers, your decoys, all this shit that has to be fired at the same time or in the right sequence to make sure your people can actually get to the planet without sitting in their chair going, okay, it's going to be a rough ride when I get there. And suddenly they explode because counterfire is coming up. You need to put so much crap in the air that the actual whoever's on the ground or what is ever on the ground is losing its freaking mind or crossing its circuits trying to figure out what in the hell to shoot at. Or if they do shoot at you, it hits something else before you hit the ground or get hit by it. But yeah, carriers, unless they are some sort of carrier that's like the USN, the Infinity from Halo, which has the ability to hold something up through destroyer class inside for repairs. The thing is, once you get up that big, you're looking basically at a dreadnought. Yeah. Let's see. We got a Sir Braddock saying a space buff would be fun. Is that a space biff? Oh, big ugly fat. Yeah, okay. I hate to say it, but you know who tried to do that? One of the Star Wars movies with their bombing run over the dreadnought. It was the thing is, bombs don't work in space. They don't. Mines work fine. Missiles and torpedoes work great. Bombs require gravity. Now, if you're way up on the outer atmosphere and you're bringing in a aerospace bomber inside the atmosphere to drop its load, then yeah, that would work just fine. He also says B-52 for those that don't know the nickname. Yeah, it's a big, ugly, fat fart. Well, it's not fart. Think of a different word. Oh, wait, it's past 10 minutes. I can say fuck. Big, ugly, fat fuck. The odd thing is, the B-2 bomber actually has, or not B-2. No, the B-1 has actually higher capacity for bombs than any other bomber in the American arsenal. Actually, compared to all the rest of them, it can handle more than any of them. And the thing is fast. Holy crap. I didn't realize how fast one was until I saw one actually flying with his wing sloped back. I was like, man, that thing is booking. Anyway, Ava's like saying jump freighters. Okay, she's talking with War Sniper there. Leonid said, there is a new cartoonish style video game where you can fly a massive 18-wheeler in space. Oh, you're a space trucker. You can use space highways and jump gates. I already did a story on that, where human delivery service. I forget exactly what I called it. Something like humans are nuts, but they get your stuff on time. I did that one, and yes, Space Truckers is an actual movie. So I'd be crossing some lines there, Leonid. Don't get me wrong. The Space Truckers, do yourself a favor, have some drinks on hand. It's cheesy. but it's fun. It's one of those fun movies you just can't get around. You just have to enjoy it. See. He was saying jump fighters are such fun targets. They're sitting ducks after the jump. Yeah, more. The problem with jump fighters is they don't have the secondary engine. And because of that, and that was actually brought up last week, Ava. I don't know if you were here with us, but somebody asked me if having a secondary engine would stop the pause after a jump, because the jump takes up so much energy. It takes a while for the engines to catch up with everything else. If you had a secondary engine that's supplying all that, then you don't have to wait. You can just start the shooting, which is absolutely true. You want a secondary engine up in space anyway, in case one goes to shit. Or one goes, as they used to say, goes kablooey. I love it when things go kablooey. But yeah, the problem with fighters is you don't have a lot of countermeasures. If you get anywhere close to any ship with point defense cannons, it's like flying a Cessna over, or let me rephrase that. It's like flying a Fokker aircraft, which is what they used in World War I, over a World War II airfield. I mean, you're just going to get shredded. And just, again, it don't pass the sniff test. But don't get me wrong. If you have fighters that can jump in randomly, drop their torpedoes, and book it, like they don't have to wait for a spin up, they can just jump right afterwards. Oh, that worked great. Let's see. Demon says, quick rundown fleet idea. 1 command ship, 6 carriers, 20 destroyers, 40 frigates, 60 corvettes, 2,000 fighters, 1,000 bombers, 1,000 heavy fighters, and 1,000 fighter bombers, each with 18 offensive dreadnoughts. You have 18 offensive dreadnoughts. What the hell are you doing with the rest of it? Seriously, that's a lot of firepower. That is seriously a lot of firepower. And by the way, your command ship would most likely be the largest one there, or the most defendable, which has been doctrine for hundreds of years by now. Even in the battles in the Pacific, the flagship was always the battleship. It was never the carrier. It was always the battleship, because the battleship was the hardest target to take out. And if the command is gone and you don't immediately have something to take over, for some navies they did, others they didn't, then yeah, you got to protect it. Unfortunately, that was brought up because, or how do I put this? In one of, I believe it's a chapter that dropped this morning, one of the Xenos, he talks like this, and his voice is Fleet Commander, like Grand Admiral MacArthur, and which was a rip on MacArthur. Now, kind of got me pulling back here a little bit. For those of you who don't know American history, I'm going to let you know that people say MacArthur was a great military leader. He was not a leader. He was not a good commander. He was a horrible tactician, and he was shit of a person. And I can prove that fact because he left the 14th Infantry to die in Corregidor while he ran like a bitch with their only shore defense. He was the reason why Fort Drum didn't get the parts they needed so they could hold out for the next like 8 to 12 months, no problem, because they had all the food and water they fucking needed. That prick, that worthless prick, when he was in charge, he was on the battleship way in the back, not on the flight deck where he might get plugged. He was way in the back, hiding like the little bitch he was. And then here he was. Oh, the only thing I worry about from the Japanese is the kamikazes. Yeah, because it's the only thing that can reach out 50 miles to find you, you fat fuck. Ugh. No, the more I find out about that guy through the history books, the more I don't like him. And by the way, I was in the 14th Infantry when the 14th Infantry was spun up in Hawaii. 114 over there. Yes, I was a Golden Dragon. You don't believe that one? You can feel free to look it up. Okay. Okay. Let me calm down, because You can feel the rage. The hate flows through me. Okay. Oh, another super chat, $20 donation from SS Demon, the most dangerous ship in space right now. He says, okay, I'll send it to you by email, hopefully by Friday. Just get it whenever you have time. No worries, I'm making it to be really powerful, but with big weaknesses to hopefully it ends up better than I think. It's a work in progress. Hey, I will do everything I can to help you out, man. You're helping me out, and you know what? Let me write this down. I do appreciate the support on that, and yes, I will keep my eyes open for it. Speaking of keep my eyes open for it, I need to go down either tomorrow or Friday, and I'm going to have to put my foot on someone's neck to get those damn t-shirts. I've been waiting for them for the past like 3 weeks, and it's driving me crazy. I paid for the fucking things. I want them. But that being said, again, thank you, Demon. I will be looking forward to it, and I'll see what I can do with it. Again, time is still an issue. So let's see, where was I? Okay. Ivan says, story idea, Skynet wins, but later regrets it and becomes more human. And later, fanatic spiritualist aliens who hate synthetic robotic life, artificial intelligence. Oh, yeah, that second half, that was the Yuzan Vong from Star Wars. You can't make fun of an IP if you don't know about them. Unfortunately, that's them. They hated anything synthetic. Even their ships were bio ships. Even their weapons were using bioenergy. They hated technology. They hated the farce. They hated everything about that. And the thing is, could I really use Skynet? I don't know. Let me write that down. I'm going to write that down. Skynet wins. Spiritual learning. The kicker with Skynet winning is it doesn't have a secondary program. It would just basically just shut down. The whole idea of making Arnold the caretaker or whatever, that was basically just their way of shoehorning him into a story. Because without him, they have no series. They tried it without him, and it was a major disaster. Leonid says, "Oh, already probably happened. Skynet needs humans to exist to play war games with them." Yeah, pretty much. Sir Brunick says, "Crossbreeding. Back to the stuff he toned down on. I'm here for it. Yay!" Oh yeah, he's calling capital D. So hold on. Okay, that hurt. Remind me not to do that again. Ava says, one of my more scary designs is basically a flying buzzsaw using angled teeth to fly. Yikes. And it's a drone that can fly near Mach 1 and makes a scary sound as they start. Well, I would assume so. If you have an actual buzzsaw spinning that fast to create lift, wow. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Turbo Screech or whatever it is, the prop-driven aircraft that actually broke the sound barrier. Yeah, it broke the sound barrier with the prop itself. And the only audio they have is from like 25, 30 miles away. You can't wear headphones when listening to that. You will rip that. I tried, and it was literally just off the head. I thought I broke something. I had to get that thing off me so fast. But yeah, if you're talking about flying buzzsaw, that would be nightmare fuel. Let's see. Alan says, use the fighter as a chaff dispenser. Well, but I guess that's better than a Pez dispenser. And yeah, you could. It kind of... Oh, use a freighter. Oh, sorry. I read that wrong. Freighter. Actually, that makes more sense. That does. You can. That's easy. Just open up the bottom, put everything up underneath so it just like rapidly shoots them out. Yeah, that works just fine. That's actually a really good idea, Alan. That's a really good one. Lena says we can have orbital bomber with plasma bombs, right, to glass a whole planet. Yes and no. The amount of plasma you would need, especially going through the magnetosphere, ionosphere, and all the rest of them, it's going to tear at that so bad. If you're trying to actually have it plasma encased, don't forget you got to activate it before you launch it or as you launch it, which means it's going to be burning off as it's going. The thing is, when they talked about the plasma grenades in Halo, how they stick to everything, that's because once that activates, you got about 2 seconds before that thing is so hot, it's literally going to melt through your hand. But it also makes the casing very fluid, which means the moment that it hits something cool, it's going to compress, cool, and then stick to it. You won't be able to pull it off. Which I thought was, I don't know if that was done by accident or they were deliberately trying to do that, but that was something that worked. Now, an actual bomb to come through the atmosphere with that, I don't know. Hold on, let me check. Possibly could pass the sniff test. Now, if you had the bombs fall and then they start right before they hit the ground and then they burst out, that would work to a point. The problem is plasma does not burn as hot as people, or stay hot enough as people think it does. You can burn things at 6,000 degrees, but if you're only burning them for a quarter of a fraction of a second, then you're going to give them a really bad sunburn. I had the same issue when I talked about a ground-based anti-spaceship cannon, and I only said it fired at 17 or Mach 17. I was corrected by one of you, I believe it was Ava, and I actually had to go. The next time I talked about him, I was like, it shoots at 30 plus because it needed, I believe she said 23, Mach 23 or something to actually get through the atmosphere, because it's already slowing down once it's cleared the barrel. So yeah, it's like I do hard science fiction, guys. I don't like the fakes. If I want to do science fantasy, I'd just be making Star Wars content. Let's see, where was I? Let's see. The Sir says B-52 can carry 20 AGMs. Oh, those are nasty. And SRAM nuclear missiles. Or AGM. Wow, that's a whole bunch of ouch right there. Let's see. Ava says, the best bombs in space would need to be accelerated, but at that point, might as well use a gunpowder gun. Yeah, the thing is, when it comes to explosions in space, unless you're pushing against a medium that's a lot denser than the ether, it's pretty useless. In actuality, you could set off a hand grenade right next to one of our current space shuttles, and except for a little inside the shuttle, no one's going to even notice. It barely even scratch the paint. There's just nothing pushing it. Now, if you had it like right on it, you'll get something. But even just a little bit away, there's not enough force. There's not enough in the explosion itself to actually push enough in to go through. You're looking with those explosions, it doesn't work like it does inside an atmosphere, because the shock wave does most of the damage once you're inside an atmosphere. You need shrapnel. That's why almost everything I have is to actually pierce the hull. You got to get inside. You got to dig inside, and then I can't believe I just did that hand gesture. That was messed up. So, but you get the idea. You have to blow up inside. Blowing on the outside does nothing except shake everybody inside. They go, oh, that was kind of fun. Do it again. Let's see. She also says, or railgun, coil gun, anything that's going to push anything at well above Mach 1 is going to work really well. The faster it goes, the longer the range is for effective range, because it's all about the time people can move out of the way. Tekkaman is saying, oh, sorry, it jumped. Hold on. Space Truckers is the best kind of camping. Yeah, entertaining. Let's see. Worst Number says, Ava, I think he does not understand what you mean by fighters. It doesn't mean you can explain. Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Ava, space combat data for EVE Online. We don't use command ships out in the open. We have them fuck off and cloak to keep them out of firing line and keep them focused on the battle. Okay. As long as the cloak works and your communication still works, but I mean, it does because you're commanding all the ships. If you're not in third person view, it gets a little tricky. Excuse me. But yeah, your command and control, you want to keep off. Like I said, I haven't played EVE Online in a long time, and I used to always triple stack my my battleships. And if one of them looked like it was going down, then I just retreat them. Because if one goes down, you still got two, one watching the other. And that was just my way of doing it. Let's see. Ava says, saves resources and makes the enemy search and waste time. Yeah, that's always a good idea. Time is never on your side. So if you get more of it, go for it. Ivan says, make your own name for AI. I don't do AI on this channel, man. Ivan, this is AI free because everybody is just saturated with AI. I get a lot of people coming in. I don't bring it up during the live stream. I wasn't going to this time because I've done it 2 weeks in a row. People are jumping in saying, hey, you actually, emote. You actually have some passion. You actually do this work. Holy crap. This isn't AI. What the hell? I thought these didn't exist anymore. They do. It's just everybody has just been saturated so much with them. And don't get me wrong, the stories are good. It's just the delivery is garbage. But we don't do AI here. Let's see. Ava says, okay, Sam, we were talking about jump freighters, not fighters. Jump freighters are approximately 1.25 kilometers long and mostly hollow. Well, being freighters, I would assume they're hollow. But that's a decent size for that's a lot of cargo to move. Okay, so let's see. Cody says it broke the pilot's hearing too. Yeah. What was his response? And I said, how'd it go? How'd that go? But when asked what he thought about it, he responded, what? This War Sniper says that sounds like the terror balls in the movie Battleship. Oh, that you want to talk a movie that shouldn't have been made. That's one of them. That was just bad. The only thing that was good was hearing the old guys. And the things, they tone those guys down. Have you ever seen the outtakes? Those guys start cursing like actual sailors. They start talking like actual sailors. And the closer they got is, get that goddamn eye on that spotter. And it's like, let's see. Human skin is not okay. I think I missed part of what you said there, Ava, but okay. Let's see. Ivan says the AI does not need a secondary program since it's full sentient AI, unshackled, and acts more and more human the longer it lives. Provided it's constantly upgraded. Is it upgraded by itself through its own program, or does it have to be manually upgraded? And even a neural net processor without continual additional information, if you're just feeding it the same information over and over again, it'll never change. It's kind of the same with humans. But there's no reason circuit or reason process in there to say, hey, I'm just learning the same stuff over and over. Maybe I should learn something else. So will it actually, I'm trying to remember the name of the test where you can't tell if it's human or not. I know there's a name for it, folks. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But if AI actually got that far, things would change a lot. If you got, like they showed in a lot of the movies, where you could actually purchase a like maid that looks human, things are going to change big time socially. You're going to find a lot of people that will actually hunt these things down, destroy them, i.e., Armitage the Third. If you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend it. It's one of the few animes that I highly recommend. If you guys seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Now, with some of the more wokey wokes nowadays, I showed that to one, and she actually jumped off the couch and got like this close to my face and started screaming, "I can't believe you're anything." I'm like, it's a movie. Get over yourself. Let's see. Ava says human skin is not only minorly radiation resistant. Sorry, I almost messed that up. It also produces a carbon foam when burned, making it highly resistant to thermal attacks. Yes, there's been a lot, and I mean a lot, to include myself, people that have brought up the idea of a energy weapon that may work on other species, but doesn't work against human skin. Reason being is what she just posted right there. We can bounce a lot of radiation off. Our skin is actually able to absorb a lot of radiation in order to create vitamin D. And then again, as you burn, the blistering is simply to protect itself. Now, granted, anybody around here who's at a second or third degree burn, you know how much that sucks, and I don't recommend it. But you are absolutely right there, Ava. Demon says, my fleet idea is inspired by Halo, Star Wars, and Stargate. Been working on it a little by little to give it details. Again, I'll push it to get it done and sent to you by Friday. Look forward to your opinion. I look forward to reading it. Ava said, explosives in space work like the damn Buster method developed by Wallace, either on it or in it works. But oh yeah. If I remember correctly, that was in the movie Armageddon, where he's talking about you put a firecracker on your hand, it goes off, it'll burn your hand. You wrap your hand around, it's going to blow your fingers off. Well, yeah, same idea. That was probably one of the best scenes in a lot of movies in a while. Okay, Leonid, is 14 by 5 by 144 millimeter a good caliber for a space-based battleship, or they use 20 to 30 mil? Well, that really depends on A, what size ship you've got, and B, what the hell you're trying to shoot. That's two big factors right there. Because if you're just looking fighter versus fighter, those things do not have a lot of armor, and you just want to spit out an ass load of lead, because that's going to maximize your chances of getting a hit. You get a hit, you have a chance of hitting something that's critical. Once you hit something that's critical, battle's over. Case in point, when it came down to, again, I got to reference World War II on this. When it came fighter on fighter combat, almost everybody used 30 calibers and 50 calibers. The reason for the 50 is it reached out farther, but it couldn't carry as much ammo. When they were trying to take down bombers, the small round of the 30 caliber wasn't enough to cause catastrophic damage to the engine, so they had to move up to the 20 millimeter cannons. So again, it depends, A, your airframe, or in this case, space frame, and B, what the hell you're trying to shoot. Because if you're trying to shoot a battleship, 30 mil just might not be able to punch through. It is what it is. Let's see. Sir Braddock says, B-52, air launch, rapid response, hypersonic missile, scary shit, and long-range standoff, nuclear-armed air-launched cruise missile will join the B-52 inventory in the future. So, yeah, space buff. You know, you're space fucked is what you are. You go against something like that. The reason I say that, folks, is because hypersonic missiles are, without a satellite network, they're impossible to stop. Even with a satellite network, they're very difficult to catch. Obviously, nuclear-armed air launch cruise is, well, unfortunately, those, or I should say, fortunately for those on the ground, those are a little bit slower. That being said, it's fucking nuke, man. That thing gets anywhere underneath, and you're flying at least 300 feet in the air. one of the most dangerous things anybody could do is actually get some sort of nuke inside of a bay or underwater, somewhere around a naval port or something like that. That is horrifying, because what you could end up doing is launching these huge ships up on shore, and that takes a long time to get them down. And if they're radioactive, that's even worse. But you blow one over top of it, you're just going to look at it, and people inside are going to go, "Ooh, that's tingles," because it's a floating Faraday cage. The all the electrons are just going to go around the side and go down into the water where they dissipate into nothing. So, Sir Brother says there's way too many AI voice channels. Sad face. Or whatever. Yeah, there's so many. I can't get online without seeing them, and they're so boring as they talk. And it's like, oh, what the hell? If I ever catch myself doing that, I actually stop and give myself a quick smack. Hey, stop doing that. It is what it is. But yes, there are way too much. They saturated the market, and somebody showed me how they worked, and I'm like, these guys are literally going on Reddit, going on into the HFY channels, and it takes like 10-15 seconds. It's basically a cut and paste, put a few things in the title section or whatever. They go to their AI, they do their little whatever for the thumbnail that they want to put in, blue alien girl saved by human medic. And 2 seconds later it comes up, and then they just have to put a title in there, if they even put a title in there. For a while they weren't even doing that much. I'm like, talk about fucking lazy. And it was just, it makes me not want to listen, and which is horrible, because I actually lose subscribers because people are saying, oh no, he's going to go AI. No, I won't. I just won't. I won't go AI, and I don't do the woke shit. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. Okay. Ivan said, I didn't mean the AI art. I meant for the story idea. Okay, well. Yeah, I got your story idea right here. So let me write Ivan on that. Almost didn't give you credit for it. I got to give you credit where credit's due. Let's see. Ava says the thunder screech, the sound it made would kill the pilot just from the sound of the prop. Yeah, it would. I think one guy, he flew it maybe a dozen times, and he now the one thing they didn't put in the initial video that I saw that is the dude would wobble like really bad when he walked, because his inner ear was all fucked up. The Turing test. Thank you, Ava, for that. The Turing test. The Turing test is how to see if you can not distinguish between AI and human. And when that comes out, and again, when they have the actual androids that can pass the Turing test, they're going to have to release a whole bunch of other technology with that if they want a society, period, because everything's going to go away very, very quickly. Ivan said the AI updates itself through its own lifetime. Yes, it can. Again, with a neural net processor that will always take in information as it perceives it. Yes, 100%. Let's see. Alan says, I thought use some of our Earth predators to drop on a Zemo world as a softener for invasion. I think I've heard that before, but that's actually kind of the thing is, that's how do I put this? The only reason that wouldn't be viable is because depending on what type of predator you're using, you might be stuck with it. I mean, what if the predator is something like, oh, I don't know, killer bees or something? I wouldn't want that on a new planet I'm trying to colonize, that I'm trying to terraform. Fuck that. I don't even want them on this side of the pond. It's just that when, again, does it pass the sniff test? Hold on. It does. Would it be a good idea? It really depends. Okay. Hold on, I'm writing this down. Earth predators to kill xenos. And that was Alan. Okay. So I'll make sure you. Ava says, some advice for those working on things. There's a few things in life worth breaking yourself for. Depend on what you mean by breaking yourself. Unfortunately, I've been broke over some really stupid things. In particular, this shoulder got reconstructed because I was working out too hard and I forgot my notebook and I grabbed the wrong weight and I just lifted up the weights. And the only time I just dropped them right there. People actually came over. Are you okay? I go, I don't think so. I couldn't even shift gears in my truck. I was just about ready to cry. And of course, the PA was like, oh, you're fine. You just pulled it. I'm like, I can feel something's wrong inside here. Oh, that's just a pull. That's not a fucking pull. I know what a pull is, you dumbass. But I got the comeuppance on that moron. When I finally got to an actual doc, an actual surgeon, he sent me for the MRI I've been asking for several months. He's like, you tore your supraspinatus almost in half. How long does this happen? I was like, 5 months. Or no, sorry, I jumped ahead on this. He's like, oh, I can get you in. You just tore it, right? I said, no, I've been told it was just pulled. It took me this long to get the MRI. How long? 5 months. You'll be in surgery next week. It was that fast. He was not playing around. He was mad. He was physically fuming. So yeah, as far as things that will make you better, they're worth it. They're worth the loneliness. They're worth all the mental gymnastics. When I first started doing this, you'd be surprised how many times I'd walk away going, ow, 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 ow. And I don't mean my hand from sketching everything out, because I just did everything outline format before. Oh, shit. Things. Dustin D. I'm back from my walk to the bank machine. Cool. War Sniper. I have to ask Space Doc or what the channel was that made its own Halo ground division. What program used so I can use it in detail? Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can just drop that into the comment section. They should get back to you. I'm pretty sure they're like me and they read all their comment section, because most sci-fi channels don't get a lot of comments. Lena said it's a gunship type ship with missiles, normal cannons, 4mm cannons, and laser turrets. Holy shit, that is a gunship. No fighter carries that much ordnance. Well, not unless you're like an F-15. I mean, that thing's got so much power behind it. It's scary. But even it doesn't carry a 40mm cannon. I mean, hell, I don't even think the A-10 carries something that big. At least I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but I'm not going to stop and go through my phone. Let's see. Demon says, I don't want to go to work. Anyone want to go for me? Got about an hour till I have to leave. I'm tired of the weather, not knowing what it wants to be. One day it's warm, the next day it's cold. Randomly it's rain. Yeah, we got all our buds out now on the trees and everything. It's supposed to frost tonight. If that happens, there's going to be no food for the bees. There's not going to be nothing except for if, and I stress the if part, if the dandelions survive. And it's just, if you lose the buds on the trees in the spring, you got no fruit. It's just shit. Dustin asks, what about bamboo? Oh, you're trying to get wood? Okay. I had to, dude. I had to. That was easy. Amy said, okay. Okay, way two. There are many things in life. Oh, okay, there are many things in life, but only a few of them are worth breaking yourself for. Yes, I believe that. Yes, you are 100,000 million billion % correct on that. Broderick says, oh, well, time to sign off. It's almost 2 a.m. See y'all next week. See you, Sir Broderick. And we're going to be only going to be on here for a few more minutes here. So, but let's see. Doesn't he says, I have a theory on how to fix Panama's water shortage. How about planting bamboo plant to encourage rainfall? And bamboo could be used in Panama's I think you went economy on that. Now, the thing is, if they really wanted the rain, they just do what they did in Dubai, cloud seeding. And I forget the actual name of the chemical used off the top of my head, but it is strong stuff. If you use it correctly in a fine dispersal pattern like you're supposed to, it works really well. Actually, Dubai was under, I think, like 3 feet of water. And they couldn't get it to stop raining. I'm like, yeah, this is what happens when you screw around with nature, pal. It always bites you in the ass. Ava's saying, see, let's see. Isaac says the A10 does have 30 mil cannon. Okay. I was trying to remember it was 20 or 30, but it's 30. That thing is. You hear that? I'm like, okay, what just died? The first aircraft I saw when I was overseas was an A10. It came in and it made a very easy turn, banked around, and then it dropped some ordnance, and we're just like, okay, what's up? And the reason I went like this instead of like this is because I had a saw at the time. War Sniper says, well, my questions are answered, so I'm off. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeesh, dude. Doesn't see said dandelions will survive. Yeah, they will survive just as long as. Anyway, Ava says, I designed a 200 millimeter Gatling cannon that fires 9,000 rounds per minute, and it uses nuke shells for shits and giggles. Ava, the stress on the metal is going to be absolutely nuts. At 9,000 rounds per minute, even a M134 only fires up to 7,000 rounds a minute, and that's only firing 7.62. I mean, that's, again, you're pushing stress levels. How many barrels does this thing have? The 134 has 6 barrels. The A10, if I remember correctly, has 7. And it's just, yeah, you can only fire it for so long before the actual housing and the bolt fires out the back. See, Ava says silver iodine for cloud seeding. The barrels are about 2 feet thick, 9 barrels. I would tack it up to 12 personally. But because remember, you're only using now. Here's one way to work around it. Instead of having one bolt, you have 2. So you're actually firing 2 barrels at the same time. You have to have an even number of barrels. So as they rotate, it's firing here, then the barrel swings down and fires again. Then you can double your rate and put more lead in the air. That would work. See, doesn't he says, when you hear an A10 buzzing, then something or many somethings just died by twin A10 50. Yeah, supposedly they're making a new A10 that's got dual cannons on it. I'm like, how does the airframe handle that type of stress? That just blows my mind. Don't get me wrong, the A10 is just, it is the AK-47 of the planes. The thing can just be shot to hell. I've seen the videos where one was missing most of one of its wings. The other wing had a giant hole in it. One of the engines was gone. It just wasn't there. The tail section was just in pieces. And the pilot actually landed this thing on an aircraft carrier, got out, and you get a good picture of them going, wow. Like they didn't realize how bad they got the shit shot out of, because they're inside a titanium bathtub. I mean, unless the plane itself explodes or gets blown in half, they don't even realize they've been hit. Ava says, well, the theory, you can fire a Gatling-style weapon up to 6 barrels simultaneously, mechanically speaking. Yes, you can. The kicker is, if you're firing that fast, the reason for the rotating barrels is to give it time to cool. Again, stress on the metal. That's all I was getting at, was stress on the metal. Now, if you actually look up heat-resistant metals and actually say the barrels are made out of this material, then that would work a lot better. You got to remember, some of those heat-resistant metals aren't very hard, so you're going to have to make them an alloy. So, I mean, it can work on that, just like the Germans in 1944, I believe. They had the 262. It was a jet engine air fighter. They could only fly it about 10 times because they didn't have the territory where they could get the heat-resistant metals. So after about 10 times, they had to completely disassemble the engine, replace a bunch of parts, put it back together, then put it on the aircraft again. It was such a time, just so much time for a process like that. That being said, can it be done? Yes. Would you need to fire all 6 barrels simultaneously? I seriously doubt it. Unless you're in a massive slug match, then yes. Let's see. It was a steel with an angled diamond barrel, makes it into a cylindrical fan, increasing cooling. Oh, yeah. For a 200 millimeter cannon. 200 millimeters, like this damn big. I mean, for those that don't know, it's no joke. It's huge. You know, it's as he doesn't even Star Trek talks about heat deception. I think you meant dispersion rates in yesterday's Enterprise. Yeah, that's the thing. I actually had a thing here. I was going to talk ballistic and energy weapons, because energy weapons is all about the heat. It always is, because you're using a lot of electricity. You're running a lot of very small, well, I don't want to say materials, but very, very small molecules extremely fast, and speed is going to build heat. And because of that, you're just going to be building up a lot of heat in those. And I didn't make a story on it, but it's a good possibility if we did actually have realistic space combat. After a few shots, those main guns may have to just sit silent for a while because they have to cool. If they don't cool, the whole system's going to explode. That being said, it can still fire as long as it's cooled down indefinitely. Ballistic can't do that because it will eventually run out of ammo. Oh, there you go, right there. Alan says iridium cobalt line barrel, passes arrays phase arrays phase arrays coil cooling rate. Wow, some of these things it's hard to pronounce. No wonder the folks who did the parts for being engineers in Star Trek hated being an engineer, because all the technobabble is what they called it. Let's see. All right, time to let Sin recover. Restless. See you soon. Okay. Ava also says powder guns have the lowest heat per shot buildup. Yes, they do, especially in atmosphere. Now, outside of atmosphere, remember, there's no medium to absorb the heat. There's no actually the radiation of heat through convection is very, very, very low. That being said, it can be done. It can be done. Yeah, Sid needs a shot of maple syrup. Yeah, well, I'm most likely going to have have French toast for breakfast tomorrow. So anyways, we have been on for an hour and a half. I will send you guys off because honestly, my jaw hurts and I need some of this. And I have to make sure that the video gets dropped for tonight. So it drops at midnight Eastern Standard Time for your enjoyment. And before I go, safety brief. If you're drinking, don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, beat his ass. It's better to take an assault charge than have to pick your buddy up out of the morgue. The rest of you, make sure if your little soldier's going into the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. And I expect to see y'all here next week at 18:30 Eastern Standard Time for Syntax Live. Until then, Take care, everybody. This is Syntax punching out.